Alright, I have noticed and I have watched things about Spider-Man 3, and I've noticed some high key things in the great movie that I love. Yes, I love Spider-Man 3 more than Spider-Man 2. Why? I just love it. The drama, it's pretty good. And I noticed a couple of things about the movie. The movie is just way too rushed, too compact, and it's not the same effect feeling it gives like Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1. And to be honest, I'd be watching these videos out on YouTube and I'd be really looking at it, and I'm seeing other, YouTubers also kind of like saying it, and I realized holy shit, they're telling the truth. So I might as well take my own crack at this. I think I did this once before, but it was just an idea I had. But I'm going to try to rewrite Spider-Man 3. Let's begin. So I'm going to build off of the second movie's theme of Peter's, spiral down from, not spiral down from grace, but more of a understanding of his Spider-Man role. And it wasn't somber, but it was more out of this realization. One thing changes just in this story from the very beginning. MJ and Peter, are not together. No. Why I say that? Because the second movie built it on this sort of, it's not a fracture. It's a fracture, but it's a fracture that makes sense. Peter wants to be with MJ, but yet his duty as Spider-Man holds him back from doing that, and he tells her the truth, but he, bails out a couple of times. And with his problems with Harry and, the Goblin, he doesn't really want to escalate it. And at the end of the final act of the second movie, she finds out, and she's not betrayed. She more just realizes her feelings. She proceeds to run away, do the exact same crap that she did originally, by just ditching John, JJ's son, and basically John Jameson and Gun Peter. This is where I would begin the movie, at this scene at the end of Spider-Man 2, where she pretty much runs Peter. And this is where I begin it as a flashback of her running, once she arrived at his apartment, basically knocking at his door and still in her wedding dress. Peter would answer and proceed to look at her. He'll be stunned of her beauty. There's no doubt of it. Of course she's beautiful. She would proceed to talk. She was happy. She was talking about something. He was just dazzled by her being there until he snapped back to reality of her words. I love you. Those words were a warmth in his heart, a warmth that bloomed so bright. He felt so strong. But then it dropped. It froze over. For cold determination, he started putting walls upon his heart as he proceeded to say, "Oh, well, that's nice. MJ, I love you too, but I just don't think it'll work out." She was shocked to hear this, as simply saying, "But Peter, you just I just admitted I love you, yes. But I don't think it'll work out. You just admitted that you love me. You're supposed to get married to John. Harry has feelings for you. And with the whole debacle with Harry right now, I just need some time to myself for a while, and I don't think I can do that with you. No, I'm sorry, but I'll have to pass. Peter, he tried to close the door, but MJ would proceed to stop the door. And she was supposed to say one word: kiss me. Peter would look at her as he would lean forward, but he would stop, putting his hands on her shoulders, as gently pushing her away. I'm sorry, Mary. I'm sorry, MJ. I can't. It'll be too dangerous for you. And I don't think I would ever forgive myself if something were to happen to you. As he proceeded to close the door on her, simply she'll look as something surprised, as then she'll turn away, realizing that he just rejected her. She will leave, brokenhearted, heartbroken. Peter could feel the pain already. It was like multiple knives going through. It was the pain of Uncle Ben's death over and over and over again. But no, it was more than that. It was more emotional than it seems. He had to push it to the side. As his duties as Spider-Man, he had to realize of the choice. Dr. Octavius gave him a prime example. Do what he wanted, and that might even risk the world. Or yet, go for the greater responsibility. Go for what's better. What's better for everyone else, not for yourself. Peter would have to choose, and this decision would be made final. And by actually thinking it over, if he was with MJ, she would be at a high risk of, getting kidnapped or something worse. With Green Goblin, he should have known, you see, because he basically loved her, and Norman used it as his advantage. He kidnapped her for God's sake. And Octavius did the same with her, did the same as well. He can't just be doing this. He couldn't risk MJ's life just because he loved her. It'll be too dangerous. One of these days, if she's just this damsel, he's actually gonna mess up eventually, and it'll end up in her death. And he'll have that on his consciousness, giving him more fuel and its determination to keep her at arm's length. As simply time would go on, as the events of the third movie would roll in. Peter would feel on top of his game as Spider-Man. Spider-Man's got New York's attention, being good. Things as Spider-Man's pretty well. Nothing's going wrong, everything seems just fine. But Peter Parker, he's miserable. There's nothing well. Spider-Man, yes, another part of his life, but he can't live in the mask for so long. He can only live in the mask at that time, and that time it flies by quickly. The praise and that help from New York, it shadows it, it blankets it, but it doesn't heal the pain. His life as Peter Parker's not fully healed. He took some time off when he lost his powers, but to let him heal himself, but really, his heart's still aching, losing her. And really, he can't continue doing that. He proceeded to continue doing what he was doing, swinging, taking pictures for the bugle, and everything was just fine. There is this newcomer, in his eyes, Eddie Brock. He was this really large guy, at least the same height as Flash when you last saw him. Bulky. He looks like he, actually did some fighting here and there. Eddie wanted to take the shot to Spider-Man 2, and it was a small little rivalry between each other. Well, it wasn't anything hostile, no. Nothing like that. Nothing hostile. Eddie actually liked Peter. They were agreed. He actually helped Peter with his bills and helping Aunt May. That was something impressive. They actually built a bond. It was strong, healthy. Nothing more could be done. But with Harry, he's been trying to get reach of him, but it's like the more he tries, the further through Harry goes into the darkness. Peter would wonder if he could do anything to stop or help Harry, but it seems like Harry just doesn't want his help. Ever since he found out of his identity as Spider-Man, he's just been isolated. Peter wondered if maybe he should have told Harry before, told him earlier. We're gonna go with Harry. POV to Harry. He was in his penthouse, as usual, thinking, plotting. He just had the goblin serum perfected. He would once finally ingest it and become the new goblin. But Harry would have a whole different ballgame. He wanted to play with Peter emotionally. Norman played with Peter physically, slightly emotionally, taking him down, but Harry wanted to play with him physically, emotionally, and mentally. He wanted to make him pay. He knew about Peter's and MJ's relationship, so he wanted to do something that was impressive, something that would really hit him at home. Take the girl he loves. He proceeded to call MJ in because she has her own little problems with the play going on, with her job and everything else. And being recently fired from the play, she would basically go with, pretty much end up with Harry. The two gone along like if it was original canon, if Harry had lost his memories for a short while. Peter would basically be the same. Harry had his plan jotted down. He already had MJ. He just needed a reason to flaunt her. So how would he do that? But he needed to make new evidence known. He prepared to go out to see where Peter is. He just wanted to give him an awakening message. As Peter would be going on through his motorbike, like original, he still had the same talk with Aunt May about, marrying MJ. She asked him about if she was going to marry her, but Peter declined, obviously. He didn't have any real reason to marry MJ. He wanted to, no doubt there, but he couldn't. Responsibility as a Spider-Man is just way too big of a cost for another person in his life. And MJ basically knows his identity. Even bigger risk. He's not going to risk it. Peter would proceed to, continue. As he would continue his life, continue running down the road, he would be picked up by this guy on a hoverboard. He would, as Peter would wonder, as wondering who this guy was. He proceeded to fight in the air. Not long, the guy pulled out 3 extended blades from his arms, cutting him on the stomach. Peter here would proceed to deal with him like originally, but unlike last time, the guy didn't reveal his identity. Peter would proceeded to break the trap like original, but the guy proceeded to overmaneuver around it and leave. Peter wondered, tried to go after him, but he was long gone. Harry, I want to keep Harry mysterious, keep him in the dark. So I want to build off what Sam Raimi originally had for the story. Or Harry was meant to be the actual antagonist. It's been going on for 3 movies, literally. It's been building up ever since. So, it's just the first movie, so there's no shock there. Peter had wondering why. What's going on? This new goblin? As Peter wondered, how would he just do this? How would he actually write this out? Peter wondered, how is he going to do this? Finish this? Now he'll wonder, what will he do? He would wonder really big. It was that night. Flint Marker was running for his life. He knew that he couldn't do anything. There's nothing to be done. He was an escaped convict trying to run from the police. All he was trying to do was save his daughter. That was it. Is the world just too cruel? Allow him to save his daughter? He proceeded to running into a facility. The grounds that can actually put him back in jail and add more years to it. He proceeded to run in as proceeding to see, a hole. A big enough hole for him to fit. This was good enough for him. He proceeded to go inside as trying to hide from police as the dogs would be barking. He proceeded to hide as pretty much after he'd wait for the police to go by, he'd try to make his way out. When he heard a loud sound, what the hell? He wondered was there was some machine activating. As immediately he started to activate, turning Flint into sand. The particles would enter his body, changing him from the very inside out, changing his DNA. He was changing as he changed to sand. As he suddenly vanished, the scientists would proceed to wonder, even more wondering why the police were here. They'll basically say they need to check the whole place for an escaped convict. So they would. But they used a dog to tried to pick up Flint's scent, but he was nowhere to be found. So they said he probably ran off somewhere else, proceeding to leave and take off. Because there's still a case going on, they had to close their project for now. Well, originally, we still get the original scene of Sandman actually coming back together, or Flint coming back together as remembering his purpose of trying to get help for his daughter. Giving him the chance, giving these powers and abilities, because it's a way, or some sort of sign of giving him more motivation to do what he needs to do, save his daughter. Peter beyond his classes, it was getting worse and worse. He was lagging behind classes again. He was really having a hard time. It wasn't easy. No, it was far from easy. It was difficult. It was more just so difficult that nothing could be explained. He'd wonder, what could he do? He proceeded to wonder what to do. What should he do? Stopping his wondering immediately, the Connors would pull him to the side after class was over. He would pretty much say that his grades had pretty much gone down. As simply, he wanted to give him a tutor. Peter was kind of like, huh? But he gave him a doable tutor in Gwen Stacy. She was on top of her class and pretty much top student there. So, it was well known that Gwen Stacy was the most beautiful girl in college right now. And pretty much Peter would understand it. Will go along with it. Gwen will pretty much help him with getting back up with class. She was optimistic. Not optimistic, but she was calm, serene, beautiful. He'd wonder, as she would tutor him back up to getting back to the top of the class. Not long, their tutoring became something interesting. Peter and Gwen started to talk more than just tutoring. They became friends, close friends, and under a very quick moment, short time. To a point where Peter has a literal interest in Gwen, where he can say this, he feels romantic feelings towards her, and she does feel the same. And this was more evident of their last session, as he'll basically act on those feelings and pretty much ask her out on the day of next week, which she would not, saying she had a Photoshop to do, but she can make time after it, as Peter would nod and smile. The elder will proceed to smile as, leaning closest, they'll share just a gentle kiss. That was all. It was tender, soft. It wasn't anything too erotic, no. It was just a gentle. Peter would feel better, more than ever. He was more alive. Things have been going well in Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He felt more happier than before. Being with Gwen, she's brightened his day. And the even better thing about it, she doesn't care if he's dorky or not. She likes him for him. It was an interesting something nice. But simply, Peter would continue to swing as it was that day for their, date. He needed to, get dressed for it. He wanted to take a couple swinging bys around the city. Just to check if the city was okay. Criminals are going to go here and there, but he can take them all on. That's his job. It's not long where he was swinging, a crane would pretty much go off going rampant. Peter would pretty much see the crane as making his way forward, recognizing it's the same building as where Gwen is. Not long, he'll see her as finding it was some coincidence that he passed by when the crane was actually messed up. In style, he saved his girlfriend, his new girlfriend, and pretty much in style. It was quick, effective, and absolutely no harm to her. This also gave us even better greatness. Peter felt happy. She was, he was clearly happy. So he brought to taking pictures as clearly he was there. He dated Gwen before, but Captain Stacy didn't mind. Peter would leave as preparing for a stay for Gwen later. Later on that date, it was pretty swell. Gwen would tell him about the event that Captain Stacy was doing, giving him the key to the city. Giving the key to the city to Spider-Man. It was due on a few days later. Peter was astonished. By saving Gwen, he's gotten the key to the city. Peter would smile, saying that's great as long as she's safe. She would smile and say, yeah, Spider-Man might have saved her, but her one true hero will always be Peter. He came to her when, she needed him the most. He's her light in her world. She simply smiled as holding his hand. Peter would do the same as she also sitting from a lone dark pit that was getting just a bit too tight for him to, actually handle. And not long, a few days would pass, as the key once Peter finally arrived to the key to the city, to be given the ceremony, he would arrive as Peter Parker first. Take pictures. He took pics. Eddie said he was going to be out for, Spider, giving Peter the chance to take pictures for Gwen. She posed here and there, and, she proceeded to smile as simply excited to give Peter the key to the city. Not Peter, but Spider-Man. She was excited, happy, just feeling so joyous. Peter smiled seeing her so happy. It was a dream come true. He never felt happier for himself. Holding her closest, the two would smile as simply Harry would pop in. He would proceed to put on a facade and introducing himself to Gwen. Peter would simply talk with Harry as he wanted to introduce his own girlfriend, introducing Gwen to MJ. Peter was kind of weirded out. It was weird that Harry wanted to introduce MJ to Gwen. Peter felt off about it. Harry was trying to do something, but he just couldn't put his finger on it. MJ was surprised that Peter moved on. He moved on to somebody else. It broke her. It was tearing her from the very inside out. Peter said he had to go, and he'll basically call her later. She'll see the smiles. Before he could leave, she gave him a kiss. Leaving, once he got that kiss, he pretty much left. MJ had a scowl on her face. She proceeded to hide it quickly before, Gwen could see it, as the three would talk. Until Gwen had to go start the ceremony. She would proceed to go like normal. Peter would swing in, proceed to show off a bit. And, the crowd would proceed to chant to kiss him. He told her to lay one on him, but she was, hesitant this time. Not dire. She said she had a boyfriend, but Spider-Man said that it was just for the crowd. She pretty much uncovered just a small part of the mask and proceeded to kiss him. MJ knew, even though Peter was, well, kissing another woman, that kiss was theirs. It was always theirs. And it tore from the very inside out. She said she wasn't feeling so good to Harry as she left. Harry would scowl seeing this. Peter was gonna pay for that. But at least Peter's paying also for it. Now he had a new target to play with. Gwen. He won't play with her yet. Just yet. He'll play with her a bit later. As everyone would cheers, finding it exciting. Everything seemed okay. Not long after, Sandman would pop in and proceed to, well, still do what he did, try robbing a truck, as Peter would basically act all cocky and get his ass kicked. It seemed to be going like the original. Everything was going just fine. Nothing was wrong. And things are going pretty swell. On Peter's side of the world, until a bigger problem arose. Captain Stacy called Peter in with his May, basically, telling him of Uncle Ben's killer. And Peter was, well, very much pissed, finding that his uncle's pretty much is still alive. Flint Marco, the man who killed his uncle. A swell of anger welled up. It built like a big dam. He wanted to burst at the seams. It was building up. The pain was just so much. Once he gave his very much famous claim, that man killed my uncle, and he's still out there, and he pretty much left. Now, Peter was going to hunt the Sandman. Now, I'm asking, what about the symbiote? Where is that? Where's good old Venom? Oh, he still got on Peter's motorbike. He got on alright. His origin story pretty much still goes like in the original movie, until he latches onto Peter's bike. Peter proceeds to sleep, waiting, as she proceeded to have a nightmare. That night, the symbiote would attach itself to Peter. Once it was fully bonded, Peter found himself hanging upside down on a web in the middle of Manhattan. And once he looked over himself in a new sleek black costume, he proceeded to check himself out, as feeling the power and the rush of adrenaline. It was like a thrill joy. I want the symbiote to be like the original, but also be like a drug addiction. He proceeded to flip off the building and dive headfirst and swing off, as proceeding to feel the rush of power. He felt stronger, faster than before. This sleek black costume was awesome. He proceeded to land on a building. Looking at the costume itself, it felt great. Once he arrived back at his apartment, he proceeded to put the costume in his chest. But then he wondered what it was. It just came out of nowhere. It was different from his red and blue costume. As he looked at it, it mimicked his red and blue costume, no doubt. But how did it do that? He found it weird. Peter proceeded to wait like originally. Wait until the sand would pop up. But no, he wouldn't pop up yet. Peter would do crime with the suit. He wouldn't have any drastic changes just yet. He just got in the symbiote. No drastic changes in his behavior yet. The only thing is, he's been, is a bit more confident in himself. As simply, Peter would enjoy the suit. It felt great. It felt powerful. Simply as Peter would land upon a building, as proceeding to look himself over with the city, he felt more alive. As well, his spider sense would go off. As immediately he would jump off the building. As the pumpkin bomb would hit the new goblin came in. Immediately they would start to fight in the air. Peter would have the upper hand. This new goblin was getting on his nerves. He proceeded to fight the new goblin. He was something stronger than before, way stronger. The goblin proceeded to attack and fight. He proceeded to launch into a building side, caving him into a wall. Simply Spider-Man was simply, "Who are you? And what do you want?" "Well, I didn't know you were that determined, Pete." As Peter's eyes would widen. "How did you? Wait, Harry? Finally, about time. I've been waiting for this chance for so long. For you to realize everything you've done. You're gonna pay for that, Peter. And that's with your life. Before that, I'll take every little thing that you love. I took the girl that you love so much. Then I'll take Gwen and everyone else in your life you care for." Peter's eyes would widen under the mask, this simple scowl. "Number one, don't you even get near Gwen. You stay away from her." "Oh, really? And what if I go to her right now? I know where she lives anyways." As Harry would smile, as making flying his way towards Gwen's house or apartment. Peter would swing at going after him, preventing him from going to the Captain Stacy's residence, stopping him as they was going crashing into a building, a rooftop building. Peter would hold Harry down and simply started to punch him in the face. Harry proceeded to fight symbiote Spider-Man Peter was not. He was still holding back. Yes, no matter what, he wanted to beat the shit out of Harry, but he was still his best friend. Simply, Harry would say, "All right, Parker. I guess I'll see you around. Not so fast." "Nuh-uh. If you don't want me to go to Gwen's house, I laid upon a couple bombs in her house. You're not gonna follow me. What you're gonna do is do exactly what I want. As simply, I told you I'll take away every little thing that was dear to you." As Harry would proceed to fly away, Peter would scowl, finding this irritating. Harry's playing with him, playing with his emotions. He needed to check on Gwen. He proceeded to swing towards Gwen's house. Once he arrived at the Stacy residence, he just checked on her to seeing if she was fine. Simply he waited until, surprisingly Gwen saw him. "Spider-Man, what are you doing here?" she simply asked. Spider-Man was supposed to say, oh, just checking. As he was supposed to say, it's my duty to check on, the people, see if, you're alright. Since recently I had an encounter with a villain, and, there's a lot of people who want to go after high level people in a, pecking order. She would simply say, oh, well, come in, as she simply says, I'm not sure, Miss Stacy. I think I should, stay. Peter, you can come in, as she simply says. Peter was shocked. She knew? How did you? Peter, the moment I kissed you, I recognized it. Of course I would know. As he was simply enter, now wondering. So, am I mad at you? No. Am I disappointed? Slightly, but we just started dating, so I didn't start dating Spider-Man, I started dating Peter Parker. So, I have to wait until you were ready. It's your secret, not mine. Peter took off the mask and saying, as he would walk up to her, proceeding to hug her, I had a scare today. I see, as she simply hugged him. She felt off about this new black costume he was wearing. He was oozing confidence, yes, but the feeling of the costume as she would touch it, it felt like his normal costume, but it looked like his normal costume, but it felt totally different. She touched his mask before, yes, there's no doubt. But this costume it was light. It wasn't rough as Peter's regular costume. It was smooth, silky, and in a way wet and slimy, but nothing too creepy. Just really smooth. She simply says, well, whenever you're ready to tell me what happened, I just had a scare today. I need you to look out for somebody. Alright? Harry Osborn. Don't trust him. Peter explained to her that he was basically the Goblin. And she would basically say, understandable. I'll keep an eye for myself. I don't want anything happen to you, Gwen. I know. Simply, she says, so, anything else you want to tell me? No, nothing else. She simply smiled and saying, well, Peter Parker, I'll see you later. As Peter put on his mask, as seemed to jump out the window and swinging away, I want to emphasize on a certain thing. MJ found out that Peter was Spider-Man. Gwen found out Peter was Spider-Man. It was totally different. She found out in the middle of a fight. Gwen found out about how Peter and Spider-Man, basically how the two are similar. And by the kiss, she was pretty much finalizing on her idea, or theory, as you can say. She was clearly knowing. And she had a bit more support to the Peter side, and how more MJ just the Spider-Man side. There's a clear difference. Peter was simply now be looking for Sandman, waiting for him. He needed to find him. the guy got to pay. As weeks go on, the more times Peter wore the suit, the more brutal he became. He became a bit more cold. Not to Gwen, he said the same to her. He was a bit more confident. Okay, maybe just a bit majorly confident. Nothing to too much scare her. But as Spider-Man, he was brutal. He attacked people. He attacked the criminals like they were the stain of the earth. Peter would wait one night, waiting for it, until he had a sign. A bank robbery. Sand. Peter would look at his red costume, looking towards it, but as he would turn his head towards, the chest that had the black costume, pulling out the black costume and seeing it, you'd see how the costume would look like it was slightly breathing. It was weird. Peter didn't notice it, but as the viewers, we did. He would proceed to put on the costume as immediately jumping out the window and making his way towards, the bank as he proceeded to look as wondering where he went. Seeing how the sand would go underneath, so to somewhere underneath into the subway area. He proceeded to lift a chunk off as he proceeded is making his way down until Eddie Brock came in and pretty much said, "Hey, nice threads." Peter would be looking at Brock as simply holding up his cam and throwing it to the side. "Sorry, pal. No shots today. Not in the mood." "See ya, chump," as he proceeded to jump down. I like the line of "see ya, chump," but I want to, give off a reason. He's not this full-blown arrogant. He wants to make this, this is personal, so he basically just told, that. Peter will proceed to enter the subways and trying to look after Flint. Not long, their encounter would go the same. Peter fighting Flint, drilling Flint's head into the train. They'll proceed to fall down as we proceed to continue to fight. Peter breaking a water hole, a water tank, as pretty much so-called quotation marks killing Flint Marko. And Peter started to get more and more corrupted. This was all happening. It was slow. Peter would look on himself, proceeding to change himself as he found himself different. He liked the feeling of the rush of power. Peter would simply make his way back to his apartment. He would make his way back to his apartment as decided to go immediately to, his Aunt May's, telling her about, his Spider-Man's success of killing Flint Marko. Aunt May wasn't really fond of it. She proceeded to give Peter the line of revenge is a thick black evil that can take over our bodies and turn us into something ugly line, in which Peter would double down and double check himself, and we're to a point where he would proceed to right back to his apartment, proceeded to put the suit back in its chest. So the suit just was making something. Peter didn't realize it. He said, but he decided to, maybe take a break. The door would knock as well. Gwen would enter as simply she'll say, "Hey, everything all right with you?" Peter is between her saying, yeah, I'm fine. What happened? Something wrong? No, not really. She simply turned towards him and saying, "Are you alright? You look exhausted. There's bags on your eyes. I've dealt with him recently. Flint Marco. I've got him back for what he did to my uncle." "You got him back? As in you killed him?" Peter proceeded to look as saying, "Yeah, Peter, you went too far. But he killed my uncle, Gwen. It felt right." It felt right at the time. You sure? Do you sure you want to be this? Gwen, at the time I felt it was right. And I think I needed that. And please, I'd rather not you come in and tell me what I should and shouldn't do. Simply scowled at finding it kind of annoying, but she didn't want to argue with her boyfriend. Simply saying, "Alright, fine. I'm just worried about you been changing recently, Peter. I noticed not through your actions of Spider-Man, you've been cold recently. You don't talk to me as much. You're more focused on, your Spider-Man work. You don't like me being Spider-Man?" "No, I love that side of you. But I love Peter Parker more. I just want you to spend more time with me." As she would simply say, "And also, Peter, please get that black costume checked. It's giving very devil-like vibes. And it's not really doing good for your image. I want you to be happy." She simply would turn away. Peter wanted to try to reach out for her, but she simply left. He would simply think about her words. He was irritated by her words, but turning towards the chest, he would now have a thought. Well, he could do just one thing for her. Opening the chest once more, as he would tear a small piece of the suit he closed it. The symbiote would reattach itself to the small piece that was torn off, repairing the damage instantly. I simply would shred it off as closing the chest and putting it back where it was. He proceeded to go to Dr. Connors as well. Once he got to Dr. Connors and showed him, Connors proceeded to, tell Peter about it being a symbiote. How it would bond with the host, but it was very difficult to unbond. Peter would nod as understanding. Connors said he wanted to test on it more, and simply Peter would nod as understanding as allowing Connors to do so. Peter would feel at the top of his game. Everything was going well, and simply he proceeded to continue what he was doing. As he retreated back, as returning, opening the chest to go swing, as immediately he was off. His suit was different. Well, the costume was different. The lines were less prominent. They were still bold and etched up, but they were more just slimmer. Peter wondered if, well, what was going on, and the emblem was a lot bigger than before. He put it off something that was, weird. He simply put it on as proceeded to swing around. As he swung around the city, taking down baddies here and there. Simply read things would be going well and swell for him until he saw the Bugle go newspapers saying Spider-Man's fraudness. Peter will make his way towards the Bugle as now he'll wonder as looking through, he would see as well how Eddie would proceed to continue his job, as simply he would say, Brock, what are those photos of Spider-Man? Well, I did my best, Peter. There was nothing I could do. He broke my camera, so I did my best. I took his advice, Spider's advice, and kept it on the download. Well, I only talked about Spider-Man's new activities, not what he did a couple hours ago. It was Foot and Marco chasing after the Sandman. I kept that out. Peter scowled at seeing that. He was irritated. Simply he'll scowl. Whatever. He proceeded to also turn in his own photos. Give me double the pay, simply says. Jameson would look at Peter and say, why would I do that? Because he needed my photos. My photos are definitely better than Brock's. Take it or leave it. Jameson took the photos as, well, I guess it was that time. Peter proceeded to continue on as not long once he arrives back at his apartment, he proceeded to get a phone call. A phone call from, MJ. He proceeded to wonder as asking what she wanted. She just wanted to talk to him, that was all. So they would meet at the bridge originally. The bridge as simply asking her what she wanted, because he had other things to do. She simply asked him why. Why would he choose her over Gwen? What did Gwen have over her? Because if you remember, Peter loved her from the very moment that they laid eyes on each other. Peter simply said he had no time to do as if this was she called him for over here. He didn't have time to waste. He tried leaving, but MJ wanted him to stay. But Peter wasn't really in the mood. He really wasn't. With Brock's photos and was irritating him, and he needed the cash, sort of things. He just really wanted her to leave him alone, and she wouldn't buzz off. Peter pushed her away, saying, "Not now." As simply heading out. There was nothing he could do. That days are over. Long over. Peter would make his way back to his apartment as the weeks would continue. Everything would go on. the stall when time was coming. And Harry would plan his next assault. He wanted to hit really hard from home. His next target, May Parker.